All right, guys. Bang, bang. Got Isaiah here with me. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. Always good to see you. Especially in Miami.
I feel like you've been coming to Miami more often now.
Definitely. Every time I can. And really, with Mayor Suarez doing the new stuff, it's easier now. Bitcoiners are welcome, so I'm coming.
He clearly stated he wants Miami to be Bitcoin City.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like he's actually taking steps towards it.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen it everywhere. I've seen Bitcoin stickers. Bitcoin people accept it. I mean, he has the white paper on the website. Come on, man. I mean, he really wants us to come through. So definitely a special place. I come every time I can. So
people have forgotten that he did that. He took the Satoshi's white paper and he put it on the city of Miami's website.
Exactly.
And it's just sitting there.
Mm-hmm. And everybody can view it. And he even has a plan for people to get paid in Bitcoin. He has FTX has the name on the Miami Heat. I mean, he's going all the way. So yeah, definitely a beautiful place to come for Bitcoiners, especially now.
All right. So what's not so beautiful is Greenpeace recently said they're not going to accept Bitcoin anymore. And you had this epic rant. So just tell what happened and what are your thoughts?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think it was a culmination of seeing all of this coordinated journalists and people in the media talking about the environment with Bitcoin. This is an old argument. I mean, this was 2017 when I first saw that. And we've even seen the argument against Amazon because of the environment back in 99. So it's just an old argument. I think the people who are in power who want that environmental money from the EPA or whoever from the government, they have to keep it going. Bitcoin is just a new target. It's a new kid on the block. They're saying it. And Greenpeace in particular, when they said they're not accepting it, I was like, why are you, basically succumbing to the environmental pressure? But that's who pays them. So, you kind of have to go with it. And the rant, the only reason it was kind of epic, it was, like I said, a culmination of just seeing that. I was like, I know these people are working together. I mean, who sent the email out where all these people all of a sudden are talking about the environment?
Do you think that they're actually like colluding with each other? Like there's like a secret meeting and they all get on the conference call and they're I
don't know if it's a secret meeting, but it's different. It's different media places. And I think they may send out an email like, hey, this may be the thing to talk about. Because it happened right in a row. It was like 6 or 7 media stories I saw within a 2-week span. And then Greenpeace comes out and they're not accepting it. And I'm like, okay, well, they're so big, it may impact people. I've seen people even say, I don't want to buy Bitcoin because it may impact the environment. And I was like, this just popped up out of nowhere. So Greenpeace, them doing it, that's why that rant was what it was. But at the end of the day, I just think they were scared of whatever ramifications may come from it. And then they'll figure it out later.
I actually don't think that there's like a secret meeting or like a conference call. Yeah. But what I do think is that they're all colluding with each other because there's a lack of original thinking that goes on inside these large organizations. What they see is let me go on such and such media outlet's website. Oh, look, their hit piece on Bitcoin's energy consumption is their #1 article. We don't have one of those. We should go write an article. And they task somebody and they say, hey, go write this. And in some cases, the journalists may not even know why they're being assigned something.
Oftentimes,
right? But also there's some times where literally these idiots are sitting there waiting to write the hit piece, right? And they're like, oh, the price fell. Finally, I can write it and not look like an idiot. And so I think that it definitely feels like there was a big wave and nobody is going to explain in any kind of competent way that anything changed with the information as to why all of a sudden this is an issue, but it wasn't an issue 6 weeks ago, 6 months ago.
And they accept the petrodollar. It's in the name. That's way more energy inefficient than Bitcoin. And we already have the stats. It's a moot point at this point. I mean, we already know Bitcoin doesn't use anywhere as much energy consumption as gold, as banks, as pretty much anything. I mean, I think Christmas lights uses more energy consumption than Bitcoin at this point. So it's a moot point, and I think it is colluded simply because of that. It's an argument that is really just to get people to not do it, and that may be the influence on Elon Musk. Maybe switching his position. I don't think that's forever. Though? But that's why I say I didn't think that was forever. I think he just said it. And then he realized, maybe we can solve it with Michael Saylor. They're having meetings, Bitcoin Mining Council. So I don't know, all of this stuff coming at the same time. It seems like there's something going on as far as
my guess is that the fact that Tesla did not sell any cars for Bitcoin probably played into some of this, right? Which, by the way, means that Bitcoiners are smart, right? But 2 is that how do you stop taking the payments and not have to answer the question as to why you're not accepting it? Oh, this is a kind of a good cop-out, but they didn't sell any Bitcoin. And it'll be very interesting to see if they bought more when the price fell so aggressively.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think long-term plan, they're going to use their energy at some point to mine Bitcoin. I think that's the ultimate plan. It's just all this stuff in between is just, just noise. And I think because he has teamed up with Michael Saylor, or they had that meeting, and we have seen what their discussions are about, it's only 10% of the mining. It's not like it's a big thing, but the fact that they are being transparent, trying to do these things, I think they're just trying to succumb as well. But it's a good thing, right? I mean, I guess you want to try and make it as energy efficient as possible. Renewable energy.
What did you think of the Mining Council?
At first, it was like a shock. Like, why would you even talk to Elon? He's not even, he doesn't mind. But the miners that did join, they were reputable, and the people that were there, they, had a discussion. But it's nothing wrong with a discussion. I mean, it's not a big thing. And I think a lot of people were mad at first again because they didn't look into it. But again, it's only 10% of the miners in the world, and they already do that. They're already transparent. They already give out the information. So, the net of it, I think, is just a meeting they had, and we'll see what comes of it.
I forget who said it, but I saw somebody, I think maybe from Galaxy or whatever, came out and said, look, maybe the word council gives this feeling of oh, you have to come to us and we as the council will approve or make decisions. And instead, if they had said association, right, just by changing the nomenclature, all of a sudden then people would be like, cool, okay, well, of course the miners have an association, to whatever. And so when I saw that, I was like, man, that's a really good point. Obviously, they're going to change the name, but they didn't change the name. They kept it as council.
And people said it felt Segwit-ish. Like, it felt like a pushback. But at the end of the day, again, Segwit was like you're on our side or not. This is sort of like, it's just a meeting. It wasn't a backroom thing. So, not really bad net of it, but we'll see what comes.
It's one of the funny things to me in the Bitcoin world where there's a fine line, right? Like, I think most people in Bitcoin, this is an overgeneralization, but most people, they believe in free speech. They believe in freedom of association, right? They believe in the ability for, if you want to go have a meeting, go have a meeting. You want to go and do something, go do it, right? Whatever. Freedom, but the free market will kind of take over the social construct, all that kind of stuff. By the way, if you go and you do something stupid, you can't be upset then if somebody calls you stupid for doing it, right? But at the same time, there's been examples in history where people have had the meeting and they became a threat, or they attacked Bitcoin and the network and all this stuff. And so it's a balance, right? Between, hey, just because you have the meeting, that's okay, right? And the next time, have whatever meetings you want. But if you come, if you come at the king, you best not miss.
You best not miss, exactly. Shout out to the wire. Because again, as Michael Saylor would say, the cyber hornets are on you, you better be able to defend yourself. And we self-regulate. We basically, those people that were against it or against it happening, we kind of kicked them out the community. I mean, it's just how we do. And I think it's healthy as a marketplace of ideas. Yeah. And like you just said, free thinkers in Bitcoin, everybody's free to argue. And, somebody that was in computer science like myself, that's how you get good products. They literally start off by critiquing you from top to bottom. You don't get praise until you're a billionaire. Like, nobody cares. They're like, yeah, this is trash and this sucks. So it keeps you sharp, keeps you going. I think Bitcoiners do that. Awesome.
Mark Andreessen recently gave this interview, and I'm going to paraphrase the quote that he said in it. But he said, listen, for 2,500 years, we have found that the only way to get progress from like the default state of misery and just despair is to be able to freely think, write, and argue. Right? Those things are actually what create the progress, not, okay, nobody do anything. Because when you have a world of nobody do anything, you get no progress.
Still. Yeah, and it's boring. I mean, I even in Bitcoin, I look for people to argue with, sort of just to keep it fun, because when it's an echo chamber of ideas, it's like, all right, we all agree, whatever, but you're right. Yep, marketplace of ideas. And definitely pushing what you believe. I respect somebody that I feel is wrong as long as they have conviction in what they say. And that's what Bitcoiners do.
You keep using the phrase marketplace of ideas. And then in the same interview, it reminded me, he says that we should seek marketplace of ideas, not a marketplace of an idea. And the S on the end of ideas is really important, right?
That's a very important S.
Because the and he's talking specifically about kind of legacy or corporate media, and he's talking about, look, there is no marketplace of ideas with an S, right? It's just there's one idea that is what everyone is supposed to cover, write, talk about, and if you stray from that, then literally you are shunned from the community. And I think that what makes Bitcoin so unique is that there's argument all day long, right? And some of it is just completely entertainment purposes only.
Especially social media. I mean, you got people with, cat logos and moon boys and whatever with the Lambos. Yeah, so you don't even have a profile pic. But yeah, it's all fun and games to me. I mean, that's why I like conferences. so we can see people in person, and then people can argue. That's why even on my show, a daily show, The Gentleman of Crypto, we have Fuck Bitcoin Fridays. So you can show up in person and tell us why you don't like Bitcoin or why you disagree with something we said.
What do people say?
I mean, people love it. I mean, it's something that...
But do they show up and actually say like real stuff?
We've only had about 2 arguments, but most people come on and they argue what other people are saying, like, yeah, this was trash or this sucks. But most people, the arguments we've had, they have been entertaining because most of them don't know what they're talking about. But yeah, it's great. And like you said, on social media, you see it, you see the disagreements, but it's just good exercise.
One of the arguments recently that's been fascinating to watch is this whole idea of Marathon, the mining business, that up until literally today, they've basically said 2 things. One, they were going to mine these OFAC compliant blocks, right? Which basically meant they were going to censor some transactions. And then 2 was the upgrade of new software. They essentially were refusing to accept that upgrade or to participate.
On purpose.
Very intentional. And so today it came out, new CEO over the last 30 days, Fred Thiel, and he basically just said, look, we're going to accept the upgrade. We're not going to censor transactions. Like all the things that I think the community thought they should have done from day one.
Yeah, just start with it.
To their credit, they listened, they're acting, all that. But I think it's a perfect example of there was arguing, and you could say all you want that like the Bitcoiners were going after somebody. But ultimately, it meant that they had to bend to the will of the community, to the social consensus, right? And so do you think that's a good thing? Or is there a better way to get that result without maybe some of the toxicity or the arguing or whatever you want to talk about?
Actually, no. I think I
agree with you, by the
I
way.
wish it was a better way, but this is how we are as humans. You have some toxic, you have some good conversations. Whatever the pot of stew is, you put it together and we come up with something good. And I think, with their decision coming out later, that pressure is because of consensus. Again, we have a consensus mechanism built into the money. So of course, with the people, our consensus is a part of that. So I think we have pressured a lot of people to basically change their minds. I mean, think about it. We got banks to capitulate. We can convince anybody. We shamed Mark Cuban into liking Bitcoin because he said it was bananas. And he's a billionaire. You got 17-year-old teenagers talking about him on social media. So, I mean, yes, there are some, different things people don't like, but overall, I mean, there's some really smart people. We need all of it, I think. And I think, again, freedom of speech is number one.
I really, really like Mark. I think he's incredibly intelligent. And the thing I respect the most about him is he goes and he does the work, right? So there's a point where he was like, all this is nonsense. You guys are all idiots, whatever. And then literally 6 weeks later, I saw him on a podcast and he literally sounded smarter about all of, and not just at a high level, right? I'm talking about very, very kind of in the weeds, application specific stuff. And I said, this guy went and did a crash course. He went and did the work and he came out the other side and he changed his mind. And also you have to respect the fact that he changed his mind, right? We presented with new information, all that.
Everybody gets it when they get it.
But with all that said, one of the funniest moments I've seen over the last 2 years is he tweeted something early on before the conversion. And someone anonymous or pseudonymous account on Twitter literally said, have fun staying poor. and I literally was saying to myself, wait a minute, there is literally a pseudonymous account telling a billionaire to have fun staying poor.
And that's what I like about us. I mean, even if it doesn't make sense, we stick to our guns. And
it's more about the ethos, right?
Exactly.
It was more about the message it was delivering than it was about
and I'm
the actual accuracy.
Yeah, and I'm sure it got his attention just like it has other people. I mean, they can say they don't have that social pressure, but when you're on social media a lot and you start seeing it from a bunch of accounts, and again, anonymous, pseudo-anonymous account, he's Mark Cuban. He could just ignore it, but it's hitting him somewhere because he did the work. He learned about Bitcoin. He's accepting Dogecoin. I think he invested in, what was that, Polygon or something? Matic? Recently. So he's doing the work. So you can only meet people where they are. And once they get it, they get it. If not, hey, Bitcoin they'll figure it out.
I know somebody who used to work with them. I don't think they still work with them. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, in an investing capacity. And this is maybe 5-6 years ago. And he was really focused on artificial intelligence. I remember asking what is he doing to kind of learn about it? And oh, you want to know what this guy does? He literally is going and getting the academic papers. He's going and getting the actual technology, and he's reading books Introduction to Artificial, he's going to understand it better than the founders who are pitching him within a couple of weeks. And it feels like that's what he did on crypto.
That's what keeps you ahead.
When he did the work, and now all of a sudden he's very, very intelligent when people come and ask him about stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that keeps you ahead because, again, you don't have to pay those people now. Now you learn it. I got my own money, and he went out and did it. Kudos to him.
Yeah. What do you think about laser eyes?
Oh, man. It's funny. I have mixed feelings because I started with laser eyes, but then I was like, I want to get them after 100K. people was like, laser raise till 100K is cool. But I was like, no, that'd be cool. But I want to get it after 100K until we go to 1 million, 100 million. Because I think that's the tipping point of everybody who has these environmental debates or anything about the price or it dipping. 100K is the end of it forever. I mean, you can't argue it. So I think it should be over already. but 100K is the end of it. And then we can laser raise until the end of our days. So
you think 100K, that specific price point has like a psychological impact? Mm-hmm. Explain that more.
So I think for one thing, when we saw 10,000, as you know, I remember early in Bitcoin 2013, 14 when I started, 10,000, I was like, we're rich if we get to 10,000. So I think that was for early adopters. And I think the new wave, which are millions of people, way more people, them seeing Bitcoin at its all-time high, 2017, hitting that point, because a lot of people bought the top. They just saw it on the news, FOMO'd into it, and now they're in profit. But seeing 100,000, it basically gets rid of the, if you buy it at some point, oh, I'm losing money. It's like, just hold it. Like we have even stronger holders. And I think I saw Stanley Druckenmiller say 86% of people that bought the top did not sell in 2017. So they're getting stronger. So I think
that's a wild stat, right?
Yeah,
the specific thing he said was he wasn't into Bitcoin, crypto, any of this stuff. Mm-hmm. Paul Tudor Jones called him up and said, Stan, and they're from what I understand, very good friends, talk almost daily, all stuff. And Paul Tudor Jones said to him, of the people who bought Bitcoin at $17,000, 86% held it as it dropped from 17,000 to 3,000. Yep. Stanley Druckenmiller was like, who the hell holds something from 17,000 down to 3,000?
Exactly.
And Paul Tudor Jones was like, exactly. They're not selling.
They're not selling.
They're not selling.
Exactly.
And he cited that recently as one of the reasons why he started to actually become more, I don't even know, sympathetic is probably not the right word, just more interested in it, right?
And doing the work, like you said. And I think that is a big proponent. And then psychologically, again, we passed 100K. I mean, man. It's pretty much over. And then at that point, I think it's just accepted. I think we're almost there. It's just this last dip kind of scared people out. But we're not worried about people with lettuce hands like Dave Portnoy.
He's got his one Bitcoin, right?
Whatever, man. He sold at the first sign of trouble. I don't want to hear. But he came back. Again, like we said, people learn later. They get it. But again, there's some people that are still new. They'll learn, they'll hold, and then they'll become, the future holders. They'll be telling the class of 2022 and whoever the same thing. But I think 100K psychologically, that's the point.
Forget for a second the substance of the content. The reason why I love Dave is, did you see the video where he picked a shit coin and he did it like a college selection?
Yeah, what was it? Safe Moon he chose? Yeah. Come on, Dave. How much are you paying you, man?
Forget for a second the coins he's picking, all this stuff, but just the idea that I'm going to go and I'm going to treat it like a college selection video.
I mean, he's creative, but come on, man. And then his
all-time video.
His choice was Safe Moon, and I was like, Jesus Christ, what is going on? But I want to ask too, did you see Soulja Boy did the same thing with his promotion?
What did he do?
Shout out to Soulja Boy, love your stuff, but he accidentally tweeted out the email of how much he got paid.
Oh, I did see. He copy and pasted it, right?
Come on. This is like 2017 again, ICO days. So I'm like, come on, man.
But do you think it was intentional?
Holla at me, Soulja Boy. I got you, man. I help you. Do what you got to do. But yeah, I mean, it's just.
You think it was intentional?
No, I don't think so. I think he may have just did it quickly, like maybe on his phone. I don't know. But if it was genius because he got him more.
Because he got more engagement, right?
So, and plus I thought the price was low. I was like $24,000.
He got $24,000
if they got 240,000.
10%.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. But either way, it's just, this has been going on since the McAfee days. Nothing new. But it's just funny.
I flew down to the Bahamas and went on John McAfee's boat.
No, I didn't know that. You went to go talk to him or just hang out? Like,
no, I went and I recorded a podcast.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
I flew to the Bahamas. He told me where he was, and I brought my brother with me.
Which one? I mean,
crazy business. How many
Pomplianos are there? Which one, Joe?
And we went on his boat. And he got hammered. He was having time of his life.
That's right.
And it was the craziest experience because this guy had guns everywhere. And at the end, we did a whole interview. I put it up on YouTube. You watch it, you're like,
I gotta watch it, man.
Whoa. Yeah. But at the very end, he says to me, "You want to take a picture?" I said, "Sure, man." And so he goes, "All right, come on with me." We go up on the back of the boat, up top. And he's got like a shotgun. He's got a rifle. He's got all this stuff. He goes, "Here, you take this one." Hey, bro, I'm good.
I'm all good, man.
And he said to me, he said, "Oh yeah, your followers wouldn't like if you were holding the gun." I said, "No, I'm pretty sure they're cool with me holding the gun. I don't want to hold your gun."
Hey man, I love you, John, but hey, I don't know exactly what you've been through, brother.
Look, when I was hanging out with him, I'll tell you this though, and it's very fascinating, right?
Yeah.
when you see somebody like that, what you realize is my biggest takeaway when I left is everyone thinks this guy's crazy. This guy's way smarter. He's way more intelligent than people think he is. Right?
And we interviewed him as well. And
Did you guys?
He was drinking his whole bottle of wine, the whole interview. He started from when he started, I think, college, all the way up to like all his career. I mean, again, fascinating man, super, super smart. I mean, I think his antics get, I mean, that's what people like to see. But again, intelligent, very smart man. And I don't know what he's doing now as far as with the case. Is he locked up?
I think he's got arrested.
He got arrested? Yeah. Well, he was on the boat when we talked to him. So.
Yeah. I think as long as he stayed on the boat, he was cool. And then he got off the boat. I think he got off somewhere. They got him.
Exactly.
And it wasn't in the U.S., but they still got him. All right. So you recently posted this video of the banks. And absolutely hysterical, right? So you basically filmed individual banks, like the physical buildings here in Miami, and then you were like, "Yo, J.P. Morgan, remember when you got fined $900 million or whatever
that was this year.
For gold and silver market manipulation?" Hey, HSBC, what about the cartel? How much did you get fined there? And you just went bank by bank by bank by bank. Why does nobody else talk about this? Like, why is it that when we see you do something like that, everyone's like, "Oh, wow, like, yeah, that's like super compelling." Why doesn't the media cover it that way?
Because that's who pays their salary. We all work for somebody. I mean, we're all adults here, and you can't talk bad about the people that fund the politicians who are on your show. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, the Bitcoin ethos was started out as competition or as opposition to the banks because of what they've done historically. And it was just pointing out things that are very easily Googleable, if that's a term. Just use Google. You can see it for yourself. And the things that they've done, especially with writing Bitcoin in Black America, in my community, I need people to realize that these people do not have your best intentions. They're a business. They do what they do. They get off with it sometimes. They pay fines, whatever. That's their business. But when you know that and you know there's a better money system, why would you not use that? So I was just pointing that out. And again, I'm not good at TikTok. It took me like 45 minutes to do it. It was
very good.
Video's like 40 seconds. And shout out to my wife for helping me, or fiance, I should say, soon to be wife, for helping me because I don't know how to use the new stuff. I feel like an old man doing that TikTok. But it came out okay.
How old are you?
I think 32.
You're 30. All right, so you're the same age as I am.
Exactly.
And I went on TikTok one time, and I could not figure out how to use it in terms of creating content. And so then I said, I'm just going to be a consumer on this one.
This is my third download. I've deleted it twice because I tried, and I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, I mean, there's so much stuff. But I guess once you sit down and you have, your time with it, I was like, I'll try it. Shout out to my social media manager, Ashley. She has convinced me to do it. She was like, just try it, see what happens. It's working, I guess.
It's working?
I mean, that just came out this morning, and that's, I think, the most engagement I've got on Twitter in a while. So, I mean, the biggest thing, it's not about social media, but the information. People need to know this because then people will dig deeper. And that's what I want.
How important is it to take the right message, but put it into the right kind of medium at this point, right? So like you could have just typed that up on Twitter, but it's the fact that like it was done in a creative way. That's really what actually makes the message kind of go viral.
Oh yeah. Well, the biggest thing I think now is kids. I think people need to realize no child under the age of 12, almost 13 now, has lived in the world without Bitcoin. So if they're on TikTok, that's where we have to meet people where they are. And people say it all the time in our community, but if they don't realize that kids are the ones that realize gamification, the ability to send digital money. They live in a digital world. They understand this stuff. That's who I'm focusing on. So if TikTok is the way, that's the way. If teaching a summer camp this summer, which I am doing, that's the way. Because this next generation needs to understand how important this is. So they grow up with it. They're going to be even more hardened than we are. I mean, we're basically setting the stage for them to come along. So doing that, that's the reason why. Man,
what is the summer camp?
The summer camp, the Bitcoin summer camp will be in Charlotte, North Carolina. First time ever in Charlotte with Innovative Learning. It's a 501c3 after school and summer camp, and Bitcoin will be a part of it July, the first Monday of every July, first week. So anybody that wants to sign up, start in 2 weeks. We have partnered with BitGive to raise money. Shout out to everybody who has donated. And we want to keep it going because there's also a crypto kids camp in Inglewood with Naja Roberts. She had the very first one. We're doing it on the East Coast. She's on the West Coast. So trying to get that going because, again, we see the importance of kids learning this information.
How old are the kids that'll go to this?
Grades 6 through 10 at my camp. At her camp, I believe grades 5 through 10.
Okay. So grades 6 through 10, most of these kids don't know anything about economics, money, finance, any of this stuff. And in some way, if you can teach them about it before kind of the system gets to them, you don't have to teach them to unlearn things. You can just teach them to learn right from scratch.
Oh, yeah. And my mom is a teacher, grandmother's a teacher. I'm a former teacher. We've seen the public school education system. They don't teach you finances. They don't teach you about balancing any type of account. Bitcoin does all of that. Teaches you the history of money. You go down the rabbit hole of technology. All of these things are important. And I think that starting early, it gets ingrained in them that this is what's coming anyway. So we might as well start now because we didn't have that during the internet age. I remember we thought of it as like an option to learn the code, which we really should have taken it serious because we could have built some of the Facebooks or Googles. But that is, it is what it is. And we're trying to change that now.
I think the first time you came on the podcast was maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago at this point, right? How has the receptiveness or the understanding of Bitcoin in the Black communities across America changed so far? Is there progress?
Oh, absolutely. I think, it's funny. Price drives everything.
Yeah.
So price goes up. A lot of people believe you. But also, too, I mean, it is what it is because a lot of people, this is their first time investing. So they need to see the win on the money side, but they also understand that there's something wrong with our economy. I mean, the fact that we printed so much money, I believe 25% of our total supply just in the last 6 months. I mean, Jesus Christ, how much more can we print? Inflation is increasing and having that second option is viable. And then COVID was like, I mean, that shocked all of us. That was a black swan event within a black swan event of Bitcoin. We didn't see that, but once it happened, I think that's what got people to understand maybe there's a different way. Bitcoin may work, cryptocurrencies, whoever wants to deal with them, that could work as well. But I think long-term, people understand what's coming. So it got easier, to explain. And I think the pushback kind of stopped. I haven't had much pushback. Only a few people who haven't even read the white paper or people that don't know. But most people are like, I'll at least learn a little bit to get it started, especially with, billionaires getting involved. Unfortunately, I mean, I've been talking about 8 years, but they need to see that. And then they're doing it.
It feels like another driving factor here is there's a whole bunch of studies that show the bottom 45% of Americans who happen to usually live in inner cities, who are minorities, all this stuff, right? That we just know the deck is stacked against a lot of folks in these communities. The bottom 45% experience inflation way more drastically than the top 40%, right?
Yes.
And it's just merely simple things like, hey, if you got a bunch of investable assets versus not, of course, the person that doesn't have investable assets, you're going to have a hard time with inflation.
Losing money.
Other things around the percentage of, let's say, food in terms of your overall monthly spending, right? So if you're super wealthy and you got a bunch of investments, the amount that you spend on food is probably actually not that high compared to somebody who literally, 25, 40% of their paycheck every month goes towards food, right? To feed their family. And so I started to look at some of the data, and the two data points that just have kind of shocked me are Tyson Foods, which won $30 billion food supplier. In Q1, they reported the average increase of their products from a price standpoint, 7.5%.
Wow.
$30 billion food supplier saying the average increase of our goods that we sell, we have increased prices on an average by 7.5%.
Wow.
And so that's not every food, right? That's not every, but like that's one really big food supplier.
That's a big food supplier.
That's saying that.
Even commodities, you see commodities going up. I see people making jokes about selling wood behind in the alley because this is up 400%. You can't find it. And I think those are indicators for inflation as well, like you just said. With the food.
The second one around the food is there was a study that Good Morning America. So the reason why Good Morning America is interesting to me is, one, that's a mainstream audience. Two, that's not a finance, economics, right, Wall Street type audience. And then three is they looked at year over year change. And so what they said was from grocery stores, food prices are up 2.5% from April 2020 to April 2021. Now, whether it's right or wrong, that 2.5% is way higher than a quote unquote official CPI inflation number.
Exactly.
And so it's, again, even if it's not 2.5%, it's 2% or it's 3%,
it's still
higher than the official numbers, right? And so you start to look at, okay, that sounds like you're pushing people to go learn about how do I protect my dollars, because literally if I'm sitting in dollars, everything's getting more expensive around me. But if I'm sitting in this other asset, Bitcoin, everything's getting cheaper around me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's just simple math. I mean, over time, compound annual growth, as we know, over 200%. We know over time, the longer you hold Bitcoin, more purchasing power. And again, it's funny. Starting out, I used to always say it was always either rich people that got Bitcoin or that didn't care, or it was poor people like myself who had nothing to lose. And I think we're convening now at this point where it's like, well, we both need to use it because all of our dollars are at stake right now because of inflation. So you're right. I think those numbers they're probably lying. I mean, I think most people are lying just to you have to keep the sheep calm, man. You got to make sure nobody goes crazy. At a certain point, that's going to break. And I think
that sounded crazy until last year happened. Yeah. Right? Like if you came here and you were like, oh, they're all lying, everyone would be like, all right, the conspiracy theorists, like go sit in the corner, be quiet.
They all get
now,
right.
The conspiracy theorists are more right than the mainstream media.
Hey, I mean, it's amazing. Conspiracy theorists literally are just a few years too early. That's it. That's all conspiracy theorists are now because it seems like everything's coming out as the truth. And I mean, I don't believe everything, but a lot of it is just research and data. And we see that. Like, there's no way we're okay right now. We have 0% interest rates on houses. What happened the last time we had that? I mean, come on, man. You can't hide it.
It's good.
Our money supply, you know how they say charts don't go in a straight line. Apparently it does. Our money supply literally went in a straight line.
It's like a rocket ship.
I mean, there was no, you talk about to the moon, there weren't money supplies to the moon. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, all that money being printed and all of the data we have, like you just presented, I mean, you'd be a fool to not think something's not going on.
Yeah. What's up, guys? Before we continue with this interview, I want to quickly talk about our sponsor, Kraken. Kraken's one of the most established and secure places to buy cryptocurrencies on the internet. They've been at the forefront of the Bitcoin and blockchain revolution for over 10 years. Their mission is to bring crypto to the masses. So whether you're an OG or this is your first trade, Kraken has all of the tools that you need to achieve financial freedom. With more than 60 cryptocurrencies available, you can invest in all of the most popular projects in the industry, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, and many, many more. Kraken also provides in-depth articles and guides on every single asset that they list, so you can get up to speed quickly and make smarter investment decisions. Visit kraken.com/bangbang to get started today. Again, that's kraken.com/bangbang. All right, let's get back into this interview. I hope you're enjoying it. How important is it, especially for the black community, when you see like Nas and Jay-Z, they put out a new song. Nas talking about Coinbase, talking about being the cryptocurrency Scarface. Like he's got a couple of different lines that are in there that reference investing, cryptocurrency, all this stuff.
My man Nas.
Jay-Z, right, a couple of times talking about being a billionaire and then his wife being a billionaire and also like how much impact does that have? It has to be something that people look up to, is aspirational, and they're like, oh, well, it's good enough for them, then I should be learning about this stuff as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, Jay-Z also started a fund with Jack Dorsey, 500 Bitcoin, I believe, fund in Ghana. So he's definitely putting his money where his mouth is. Now he's early investing in Coinbase. Amazing stuff. And I think that helps with people who are not regular investors because they use basically the media and musicians to get messages out. But once they're in there, they can learn from people like us because they'll look for the experts and things of that nature. So I thank them for their help. I have joked before, it is kind of funny that we look at musicians for financial advice, especially in the black community. And I kind of joked about that saying, hey, I don't really see the white community looking at Eminem for financial advice. But at the end of the day, all roads lead to Bitcoin. And all roads lead to financial prosperity.
How many black billionaires are outside of
media? In sports?
Well, yeah, let's say entertainment and sports.
Yeah. Oprah's the most famous.
Okay.
But even
is she the
media.
richest?
I believe she's the richest.
Okay.
But that's still media technically.
Media/business, right? Like she owned the network. She owned a bunch of stuff, right?
She was an actor as well. Like she had other stuff. And I would say Robert Smith. He's worth $4 billion. It's not many. But it doesn't have to be billionaires. Multi-millionaires, millionaires who own businesses, they don't get on TV much. You don't see them. They don't have the flashy stuff. And I think that's pushed more than the average, businessman or high, CEO that has a business going. But hopefully that can change.
The reason why I say that is because actually, if you think about most of the billionaires that, if you said to me right now, name 5 black billionaires, right? The ones that come immediately to mind are Kanye West, Jay-Z, right? Beyonce. LeBron's probably there, if not already there, right? I mean, you start to go down this list and you're like, wait a second. These are people who not only have built a $1 billion+ fortune, right? Yeah. You can say whatever you want about them. I don't care. You can say Kanye West is crazy and I'll tell you, yeah, but he's got $6.5 billion and you don't.
Yeah. Right? Crazy billionaire. Yeah. He figured it out.
By the way, have you seen Richard Branson? Because that's basically a white Kanye West, right? He's always doing crazy shit too.
Exactly. He just can't make a beat. So most people don't know him as much.
But that is, to some degree, it's like the people who don't do what the normal person does, they get the non-normal result, right? And by the way, that can work in positive or negative ways, right? But you just get the outlier result if you take the outlier action.
Yeah.
But what's fascinating to me is Kanye, Jay-Z, like these people with the big platforms who are coming from music or entertainment.
Yep.
They're starting to talk about it.
Yeah.
And they're not starting to talk about it from like, if you go back and you listen to some of Jay-Z's early music, right? It was more about, flipping a brick of drugs on the street, right? Because that's what he knew.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, he's talking about buying buildings and art and being a billionaire and all.
Reinvesting and all. Yeah,
it completely changes the conversation, I think. And so it's just fascinating to see this happen. And then you layer in now, all of a sudden, they're getting into cryptocurrency, right? It's becoming cool. Tom Brady, all these different people start to capitulate and join.
Floyd Mayweather.
Do you think he's got Bitcoin?
I think he does. If not him, his financial manager has to have a little bit.
Do you think he knows anything about Bitcoin?
Not particularly. I don't think he's read the white paper, but I think he knows how it works. The number go up. That's how most people view it, and then later they'll say, "Oh, yeah, this is, the best money."
Who do you think has more Bitcoin, 50 Cent or Floyd Mayweather?
Definitely 50 Cent. He sold an album for Bitcoin. I think.
Yeah, but he said he sold Bitcoin.
Yeah, but he probably
but he
saw
at least knew
the magic of it and was like, well, let me get a little bit more. I mean, probably 50 Cent. But yeah, I think they have a substantial amount.
That is still one of the greatest all-time beefs on the internet. Is when 50 Cent challenged Floyd Mayweather to read a book, and then Jimmy Kimmel said, "You can come do it on my show."
Oh man, that was hilarious. I mean, 50 Cent is the king of beefs. I mean, he does. I mean, he's hilarious, and he'll challenge you to a fight. I mean, can't really beat 50 Cent. I think he actually got to fight with Floyd Mayweather. Like a scuffle. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's like friend stuff. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. 50 Cent.
I follow him on Instagram, and every once in a while he'll post a random photo of somebody, and it's obviously not a very flattering photo, right? And I don't have the context behind what the beef is, and then all of a sudden I forget what the hashtags he uses are, but he uses something like
he doesn't forget,
like just you just realize like, hey, dude, I'm not messing with this guy, right?
Just leave 50 Cent alone, man. He'd be all right.
What's the story with Sheetz? I saw you. Sheetz started accepting Bitcoin, and then you were like, "Yo, I told like a regional manager about it or something years ago."
So no, it was interesting because during COVID, I left LA, went to be with my fiance in Virginia where she was at, and I had a few people with brick and mortar stores that were setting up Bitcoin ATMs. So I'm setting up Bitcoin ATMs all through COVID. Most people are, sitting inside. I was outside. I was like, I'm sorry. I was like 50 Cent, get rich or die trying. I was like, I'm sorry. I got to make this money. I got a daughter on the way. So I was out here and I was at a Sheetz, and I had asked the people who worked there a few times about a Bitcoin ATM, but they didn't know what I was talking about. One day, the regional manager just happened to be there, I guess, doing paperwork, whatever. And I mentioned it to him and I said, matter of fact, you all should accept Bitcoin. And he kind of was thinking, he was like, but I don't know what that is. He was just like, I get it. Like, I'm trying to explain it to him. I don't even know why he listened to me. But I was like, yeah, you all can earn money for just having an ATM and people can accept it. Now, did that turn into them accepting it? I don't know. But the biggest thing is me telling him, I'm pretty sure that's one of the first times he heard it. And maybe their company did research, but who knows? That was
But if they heard, if 10 other people did the same thing, right? It increases the probability.
And I probably told 2 other Sheetz, but that was the only one I saw the regional manager. But I mean, again, I've gotten gas stations in LA to get Bitcoin ATMs and to accept Bitcoin. So it wasn't.
How does that work when you go and you install an ATM? They get just paid like a percentage or a flat fee?
Yeah, so different companies, but one I know for sure, CoinFlip, they'll pay the brick and mortar to house it there. They'll pay you rent. And you don't have to deal with the upkeep. So if you have a brick and mortar store, you can do that right now. If you refer a brick and mortar store, they'll pay you as a referral. But just helping people do that, the reason I was doing it was more for the community. I realize in the Black community, a lot of people have cash. They have money in the mattress. They can't always get straight on an exchange. I think Cash App has solved a little bit of that problem. New exchanges made it a little easier, but ATMs facilitate the ability for them to get it quicker. And I think when stores do it or have it as well in a local place, that helps them on board to Bitcoin. So that's really why I was doing it, did what I had to do, but Sheetz doing it, that's great. Everybody's going to capitulate at some point. So it's better to just do it earlier. They have the infrastructure. Coinstar, same thing. Sent them email 2014, 15. Why can I not put this change? Because I was so poor. I used to pour change and that would be gas money, like $30 worth. Why can't I turn that into Bitcoin? And then 4 years later, you can do it. And I was like, I don't know if it came from me, but I'm pretty sure I was the first person to mention it. But it happens. I mean, again
they hear from 1, 2, 5, 10, 20 people.
It starts somewhere.
We should pay attention.
Exactly. Yeah. But everybody capitulates, so it's all good. Bitcoin wins at the end.
True. Another thing that is winning is Bitcoin Black Billionaires.
Oh, yeah.
What is this? One. Two, how the hell do you have 100,000 people in your clubhouse?
Hey, man. Shout out to Lamar Wilson, co-founder. He came to me with the idea.
It's Bitcoin Black Billionaires or Black Bitcoin?
Black Bitcoin Billionaires.
Okay, Black Bitcoin Billionaires.
On Clubhouse. And what happened was...
That's a lot of B's, man.
It's a lot of B's.
There's only one other triple B I know.
Hey, man, like I said,
and that was a clothing brand that went up and maybe not doing so hot.
I know. Well, we had a new triple B. Alliteration works. That's all I got to say. But Black Bitcoin Billionaires, absolutely on Clubhouse. New app in December kind of started, getting popular. Lamar called me. He said, we worked together before. He said, why don't we start a group, teach Black people about Bitcoin? The price is going up. It's we got to have a sense of urgency. We started it. And I think we've had, 10 different channels, basically. So we have the Genesis block on Monday. We have Bitcoin office hours. We have Granny Crypto, who teaches to older people. We have, it's so many.
What was the last one?
Granny Crypto.
Oh, Granny Crypto?
Yep, and she teaches as well. We have moderators that teach different classes. Club Quavo on Saturdays to keep it fun and light, more like edutainment. And I think getting people
Quavo shows up?
No, it's one of our friends, Club Quavo. He's in Miami. But yeah, he has.
That sounds like somebody I need to go out with on Friday night.
He has the Lambo. He's a cool guy. And again, part of the Black Bitcoin Billionaires. It's all aspects: education, entertainment, lifestyle, how things go. And the best part was we teamed up with Cash App. We were able to give away 1 million Satoshis to thousands of people. And we were able to give it away for free, teach people about it. And we also have Who Wants to Be a Satoshi Millionaire on Thursdays. So people can come and earn Satoshis. Thank you, Cash App, for that. Also, some of our other sponsors. But it's great because we're giving people exactly what they want without them necessarily having to buy it. Mm-hmm. Education and a start. Get some skin in the game. So Black Bitcoin Billionaires is, pretty much blown up. And out here in Miami, we have a lot of events that we're doing now because of that.
What are you guys going to do for the conference?
Oh, yeah. So for the conference, we have the Bitcoin Classic, the first Bitcoin tournament that rewards the winners in Bitcoin.
It's a basketball tournament.
Basketball
tournament. Are you good
at
basketball?
Very.
But
very. Not anymore.
Wait, hold on.
But not anymore like I used to. Because again,
all right. So either you're good or you're not good.
Oh, right now I'm still one of the best shooters out.
All right.
But everything else, man. Come on, man. I'm 32. Give me a break. But as far as shooting, I always tell people this story, and I hate saying it because nobody believes me. But yes, when me and Steph Curry played at his dad's summer camp with Dale Curry, I beat him and his dad in a 3-point contest. I don't know how many people have beat him in real life, but I know for sure I got the shirt to sign it. I signed everything. I got the picture and everything to prove it. But yes, so
you're saying you're better than Steph Curry?
I was at one point.
No. What about now?
No, absolutely not. He's the best point guard of all time. Nobody
all time.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Not anymore. I stopped playing once I hurt my knee.
All right. So the other thing is, if you are running the basketball tournament, you're also going to do this with a mansion party.
Yeah. So we got the mansion party June 5th. It'll be 3 to 8. We also
3 to 8. Mm-hmm. From 3 in the afternoon till 8 p.m.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we partying for a little bit, brother.
What are you guys gonna do for 5 hours in the middle of the afternoon?
Networking. We got a pool there, and then
listen,
it's a lot of people.
Mansion party and networking are on two ends of the spectrum.
Well, we're gonna try and fuse it together, just like education and entertainment. We're gonna put it together and try and get a lot of people in one spot because a lot of people want to meet the moderators or meet each other. So, and I can only imagine the traffic. Because again, Mayweather's here. So we definitely want to have that. And then we'll have a community event Sunday. It'll be in Little Haiti. We'll actually be giving away free books. We'll be in the park. And we'll also be having a cookout, June 5th with Najee Roberts and Hill Harper. They have one. We'll kind of go over there, some of us, for the Black Wall Street app, which is out today. So we have a lot of events. Actually, I think this is the most Black people at any Bitcoin event ever.
Really?
I believe so. As far as tickets from spectators and people that are coming to the events, I believe so, which is a big thing for me because I used to be the only Black person at events. And I was like, we need this more than anybody. Why are we not around?
Yeah.
And it's not about, not against other people. It's really about every group is going to have to join in order for it to be mainstream. So you might as well bring them to the conferences, let them see how it works. And I think this is a good example.
Is there safety in numbers, like in terms of the more people you see? If you go to a conference, there's 5,000 people, right? I don't care if they're black, white, green, purple, whatever. Mm-hmm. But then you go to another conference, there's 12,000 people. All of a sudden you feel like, there's 12,000 other people here. Yep. Like, I must be onto something, right?
Exactly.
Versus if there's a conference with 20 people, you're like, okay, am I a nerd, right?
I've been to those too. Yeah, I've been to those too. I've been to enough conferences now where it's like, this is amazing. 12,000 people is nothing to sniff at. That's, NFL game. That's a small college game. Like, that's pretty good as far as the amount of people, but also the impact we can have if we actually try. I know some people here are coming to flash with each other and eat dinner and laugh, but me being in the streets, working with people, the real people who need it, I've been doing that my whole basically career of learning about Bitcoin. So it feels familiar, and being able to do that is going to be great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Talk about the Wall Street. It's Black Wall Street digital wallet.
Well, the Black Wall Street app, and it is a digital wallet. But and it drops today, May 31st, and it's in celebration of the Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, dating back to 1921, 100-year anniversary. So 100 years since then.
Explain just real high level, what is Black Wall Street and what was the event in Tulsa for those that don't know?
Absolutely. So there were many Black Wall Streets around the country, as they were referred to. Basically, it was a mostly Black community where they had libraries, they had, CEOs, they had airplanes, they had a built-up community that was prosperous because they circulated their dollars and they were free to work. However, because of some of the policemen and white men that were around that were jealous, burned it to the ground, killing hundreds of people. I believe there's only a couple survivors left. Now, that was something, they actually built it up later, but it was never really the same. And in other places, the same thing happened. Florida, Georgia, all over the place. And Wilmington, North Carolina, all of these places had economic growth in Black communities that were burned to the ground by people who were either jealous or didn't want to economically let them get forward. So in celebration of that, 100 years later, what we're doing is building a digital Black Wall Street. Because as I've said before, you can't burn down Bitcoin. And the best part about this whole movement is that because it is global, we have the backing of people from everywhere, not just a small brick and mortar community that can be tainted. So I'm glad Hill Harper and Naja Roberts have introduced that, helping consult with that with Lamar and other people. They have a great tech team, and I think it's going to take off because, again, they have the ability to dollar cost average into Bitcoin as well as have a digital wallet, which I think bodes well for the future.
Why does the Tulsa, Oklahoma one get so much attention compared to the other ones? I didn't know that there was other situations where this had occurred. So why does that one get a lot of the attention?
I think it was considered the most prosperous. Of all of them.
So it's kind of the biggest.
It's kind of the biggest one. Yep, absolutely. And because they did have so much commerce. Matter of fact, it was so heinous when it happened that they showed it as an opening scene on Watchmen, and people thought it was fake. They were like, why would you show all of this murder and all this stuff? And they were like, this really happened. That's how crazy it was. So we can only really, celebrate our ancestors by doing something economically. Because since that time, nothing has really worked, right? So I think economically taking that step, I'm sorry it took 100 years, but shout out to the ancestors that built that time. We're doing that now in 2021.
You were the person who turned me on to the whole idea of when a system is stacked against its people, right? Just as a population in general, nothing to do with the color of someone's skin. The only way to fight back is through technology, which I think most people, they understand that. But specifically the Black community's relationship with money, banks, the financial system, the censorship resistance becomes incredibly important. The decentralization of all of this becomes the most important thing, right? Which is ultimately what Bitcoin is going after. But once you start to educate people, it almost becomes the default, right? In that, why would I go and use a system that I know is stacked against me when I have a system that when I want a loan, it just says, I don't care who you are. I don't even need to know your name. Just you got the assets or not.
Exactly.
Completely different way of thinking about it, right? Compared to the legacy system where it's come in, where do you work? How much money is in your bank account? You
gotta dress a certain way. You gotta
send me your electrical bill and all this like nonsense, right?
Also, and I mean, even then, you still might get denied for a loan. Or if you get it, pay higher rates because there are banks that have paid those fees in lawsuits because they've given higher rates to Black and brown people for the same qualifications, just based off of zip code or how they look or who knows. But you're right. We owe them no allegiance. And in hindsight, I think in the next few years, in hindsight, it's going to make perfect sense that we move to Bitcoin. Like, I feel bad for people who just kind of push it away completely. Your grandkids are probably going to not respect you. They're gonna be like, what did you do during the biggest transfer of wealth of all time? Oh, well, I was on Twitter telling everybody not to buy it or that it was bad for the environment. Those people that said that 99 about Amazon look stupid on Forbes. I'm sorry. You look dumb now because who's talking about Amazon's environmental impact right now? Nobody. Same thing with Bitcoin. It's taking its lumps. It's taking its criticism. But in hindsight, I think the Black community will realize this is going to happen. I mean, technology eats everything. And you're right. It does solve a lot of the racist stuff we saw, like Black people not getting a taxi in New York. Uber solved that. Now taxi drivers are begging black people, please get in my taxi because they don't have any business. So it happens. It happens.
So true.
That's what tech does. And I think Bitcoin does that now.
Explain it more. So there's a problem with taxi drivers. I've seen the signs in the taxis in New York City that basically says it's a crime not to pick up somebody based on the color of their skin, their gender, whatever, right? So it was obviously a problem. Problem enough where they would go and they would actually put the signs in. Uber basically said, look, you press a button, they don't even know who you are until they show up.
Exactly.
And so that completely removes all the issues. And that's technology specifically addressing that issue, not intentionally. That's not why Uber was created, right? But it's a second order effect of it. And so Bitcoin essentially having a very similar second order effect here, right? Bitcoin was created for just a human, but this ends up being a second order benefit.
Absolutely. And decentralization is on a scale, right? So Uber's not completely decentralized, but it's more decentralized than taxis are. And then you may get something more decentralized than that in the future, whereas no central authority. It's literally anybody can use it, and check through smart contract, however it moves. But yeah, that's what they did. And I think, again, Bitcoin would do the same thing, just as we've seen with other technology.
You've mentioned Floyd Mayweather multiple times. He's going to headline, I put that in air quotes, I don't really know what that means, of the Bitcoin conference. Good, bad, or indifferent that Floyd Mayweather is the headline?
I think it's good for publicity, but I'm kind of indifferent. I mean, again, me and you, we've been to plenty of conferences. Who cares, right? I mean, you're going to talk when you talk. If you need to put him at the front, then that's fine as well. He gets up there, he says what he has to say. He has a fight this weekend, so it may be just promotion.
Is it a fight?
I don't care. No, this is a good payoff and some good entertainment. I mean, I think the best fight was when he took his hat and he ran off with it, or whatever he took.
That was the only real fight.
Yeah, that was the real fight. And so, I mean, I think this one may go 2 rounds if that, like.
Jake Paul, Logan Paul, 2 of the greatest marketers of our generation.
Very, yeah. I think they're moving up there with the Kris Jenner as far as marketing and media. Because how they got this far to fighting Floyd Mayweather, I don't know. But it's
Logan Paul
going from a YouTuber to that is, I mean,
yeah. I'll give you one even better. Logan Paul, and look, from everything I understand, incredibly intelligent, right? Incredibly hardworking.
You have to be, yeah.
Very successful when he puts his mind to doing something. Him and his team. And also very creative from if you look at the various lines of business and all this, like, so again, very similar to what I think people would say about like a Kris Jenner and all that kind of stuff. But he's had 2 fights, right? And I think he lost one and he had a tie.
Yeah.
So again, zero disrespect at all, right? Because guess what? If him and I got into a ring, he's like 6 inches taller than me, I think, right? I still might whoop his ass. But
get the right punch, you never know. Yeah.
He gets in the ring with Floyd Mayweather. Like, that is a skill to get Floyd Mayweather to agree to this fight.
Marketing genius. I mean, if the money is right, that's one thing about money in business. If the money's right, none of that other stuff matters. It's like, well, we can both.
Do we know how much they're all getting paid?
I don't know the purse, but how much did he make last time? Like $50 million? I don't know.
No, Jake Paul didn't make 50.
Jake Paul 25? I don't know. But
no. My guess is that he made 5 to 10. Which by the way,
for $5
to $10 million is a lot of money
for a fight. How many people fight for free? I mean, come on.
I think Ben Askren got $1 million.
Yeah, and Ben showed up like he just finished drinking beers at the bar.
I think Ben trained very hard for this.
Right. Yeah, I love Ben to death. I love you, Ben. But I was like, he showed up for the money. He just wanted to get it all. He's like, I can fight, but I don't really care about this dude. I mean, it's whatever.
Out of the whole group, Floyd, Ben Askren is the smartest one.
Yeah, I think
Floyd, he was in the ring for 15 seconds and he got $1 million.
Get this over with. I got partying to do, man. Give me my $1 million. I'm out of here. I would have did it too. Let me know when I get that contract, Jake Paul. I'll jump in there for 15 seconds.
So how much would it take you to fight Jake Paul in the ring?
Oh man, I take $10 million.
$10 million.
Yeah,
but you wouldn't do it for $1 million?
Nah, that's not enough. I
mean,
5 million? At least 10. 5 to 10, I would say.
5 to 10. All right.
Yeah,
so I'm like Don King. I already negotiated you down 50%.
A lot longer than they to get it going.
Well, Ben didn't train.
Yeah, but at least he fought before. You know what I mean? Like I just do,
I actually think Ben trained more than we think he did, but everyone expected him not to train at all, therefore, training for 2 hours a day was a step up.
Hey, Ben's got crypto or whatever he got the podcast. He's chilling, man. He's not really worried about fighting.
Askren Acres. That's what he calls it. Askren Acres.
Oh man, love you, Ben. Hope to see you soon, man. But yeah, that was funny because again, marketing genius. He got in there, people watched it, made money from it. Why not?
Yeah, it's so good. Do we think that Logan Paul has any chance?
No, I think Floyd may stretch it out just for fun. But no, I mean,
I think that Logan
he's
Paul,
50-0 for a reason.
I think that Logan Paul has one opportunity.
If he gets off
first round,
just run at him. Yeah.
Just literally like treat like a UFC fight essentially,
exactly.
right? You're bigger, you're stronger, and just all out gas yourself. Maybe you get lucky. If it happens, you're a legend.
Couple kidney punches.
Yeah, you're a legend.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't happen, you were going to lose anyways, and just okay. Everyone's going to say, "Damn, you got in the ring with a 15-year-old, world champion."
He has no expectations, so I think that's his best asset right now. No expectations, no pressure. Why not?
What happens if he knocks out Floyd Mayweather?
Oh man, that would just confirm that we're in the Matrix. I mean, it's been some weird shit happening this last couple of years. I don't know.
That's all I keep saying to myself.
I wouldn't be surprised. Age of Aquarius people and people that talk about end times and all this, it's some weird shit that's been happening last few. I mean,
if Logan Paul knocks out Floyd Mayweather, is it the greatest knockout of all time?
Greatest. It has to be. I mean,
it's
a non-professional and the maybe greatest of all time. Yes.
You legitimately have to start asking yourself, like, okay, cool, I get Ali and Frazier, like all these different fights, like.
Nah,
Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah,
if Logan Paul knocks him out, might be top 10 knockouts.
Nah, that's easy number one. But it's not going to happen. Floyd's going to win easily. You might stretch it out, have some fun, dance around a little bit. Yeah, he's going to. You can't hit him. I mean,
did you think that Conor McGregor had a chance when they boxed?
No, I didn't think he had a chance either.
All right. So I actually thought Conor McGregor had more of a chance than most people thought he had.
Yeah,
and I was pleasantly surprised by the when he showed up, how well he performed. He lost.
Yeah.
Right, it was
but
very
he came
clear.
At him. I liked how he fought him. He did try and actually box him.
After like 6 rounds with the McGregor fight, it was pretty obvious that hey, look, he's not going to win this because he just got tired out, all this stuff, and Mayweather is the one of, if not the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
And that's why I say he's just got to try to knock him out in the first round. Just literally come out and just say, man, forget a 3-minute round. I'm gonna come out. I got 30 seconds.
That's it. Yeah, come out swinging as hard as you can. Because I mean, again, I think Floyd he just suffers from LeBron James syndrome. We get tired of seeing greatness over and over, so you try and make up a reason in your head why you'll lose, and you think about it like, no, he's not gonna lose. But the best chance is that run at him hard as you can, maybe grab him a little bit, try and get some punches in there. But that's about it. I don't. After that, you're not landing many punches on Floyd. Good luck, man. I mean, have fun, but it's not happening. I'm sorry.
I think he just needs the money.
Yeah, I mean, how much do you think Floyd's getting?
Oh, Floyd ain't stepping in the ring for less than 50.
That's what I said. I said at least $50 million, and that's not a bad thing. If I can get in a fight with the ring and fight a non-professional for $50 million free dollars, hang out in Miami for the weekend, why not?
Yeah.
I mean,
my guess is that 50 is the starting number. Then he gets a piece of all the stuff. He stays relevant, like all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
McGregor, would he get $100 million?
Something like that. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So it's just like you start to put the numbers together, and you're like, yeah, man, if you're getting paid $100 million to fight, Conor McGregor, you're not stepping in there 50% less to go fight a YouTuber. On the off chance that he gets lucky with a shot and knocks you out, and your whole career is defined by you got knocked out by a YouTuber.
Man, you better get some big money off of that, because I hope he gets money off the replays or whoever plays it after that, because if that happens, man, the residuals from that, everybody will just rewatch.
Well, that's part of it. If I'm Floyd Mayweather, I'm negotiating the contract. I'm like, look, I want my $50 million, $100 million, whatever the number is. And by the way, if there's a knockout, I want to get paid. Right?
Everything from whatever TV station
because literally you're going to ruin all this other stuff. You pay me a bonus for getting knocked out.
I want to NFT it and only sell 5 copies. But I mean, again, it's fun to talk about, but I am glad he is at a Bitcoin conference because he was messing with some shitcoin before that. I don't know who introduced him, but there's a lot of them in 2017. T.I., Jamie Foxx, DJ Khaled. I'm glad we got all that out the way. Hopefully, they can come talk to somebody like myself or others, Black Bitcoin billionaires, who can lead them to the light. Because if they go that way, then their message will resonate more like with Jay-Z and Nas.
Russ Okung, right?
Exactly.
Saquon.
Perfect.
A bunch of these guys who are in that same circle of athlete, entertainer, musician, right? They get it.
Oh, yeah. And Lala Anthony out there in entertainment, Spencer Dinwiddie, people that I've talked to that are, quote unquote famous are getting it now because they saw the ICO bubble. They see sort of the scams going away. And they're like, no, what's the real information? And I think we have a perfect time of doing that right now.
Tom Brady drastically underrated how important it was that he capitulated and jumped in.
Yeah.
Like a couple of these professional athletes that I've talked to have said, oh, Thompson, Brady.
I'm in.
He's the GOAT, right?
Oh yeah. How you not gonna listen to Tom Brady?
Now, every time I bring up Tom Brady, I have to say that he's 0-2 in the Super Bowl against Eli Manning and the New York Giants.
Of course.
But other than that,
Wouldn't
he's the
expect
GOAT.
anything, wouldn't expect anything less, man. I mean, obviously. I mean, it's funny. Those are the two that I literally was sure they were gonna win. Now, both lost. And then I got lucky some others, but he's
What
still
was
the
it?
GOAT.
Was it 08? No.
Whichever was the one where Tyree caught it on his helmet.
Yeah, I think it was
like,
2012 or whatever,
yeah.
when David Tyree and they broke the undefeated season.
Undefeated season. And that's when I was like, sure they were winning. Nope. And then the second time I was like, they're gonna get revenge. They gotta get nope. I was like, man, I was wrong on both of those. I lost a little money on that, Tom.
Never bet against the New York Giants. And by the way, the New York Giants, they don't win the Super Bowl if they're good.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't win the Super Bowl if they're bad. But if they go 8-8 in the regular season,
Mediocre
watch
wins, baby.
out.
They just I used to always say, I feel like they're saving themselves because they're actually better than this. Because they get to the playoffs and they were running through people to get to them. But it's all good, man.
In Saquon, we trust.
Oh, yeah. Y'all making the comeback. Oh, yeah.
All right, where can we send people to get the book, summer camp, and then anything you're doing with the conference?
Oh, yeah. So the book, BitcoinInBlackAmerica.com. The summer camp, it'll be posted on GiveTrack.com. You can follow the progress there. And then at the conference, I'll be speaking June 4th at 1:10, speaking of what is a Bitcoiner, which should be interesting. And then after that, I'll be around at Black Bitcoin Billionaires Mansion. You can find it on BlackBitcoinBillionaire.com.
Black Billionaire.
Black Bitcoin Billionaire.
BlackBitcoinBillionaire.com.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
Before I let you go, the book, you're on the second version?
Second version is on pre-order, and it'll be released this month. Absolutely.
Okay, so first one people can go buy.
Can go
second
right
version, is it just updated or is it a whole new set of content?
7 new chapters, and it also includes audiobook. It has the digital copy and 3 webinars attached. It's more of an educational experience because people need to learn, sense of urgency.
So if somebody bought the first one, they should definitely still go buy the second one.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Awesome, man.
Take it a step up, man. You got to step
All
up
right.
our game.
And then where can people find you on Twitter?
At Bitcoin Zay and Instagram, the Isaiah Jackson.
Yeah, you got to throw the TikTok out there now that you're a TikToker.
Hey, man, I got 2 TikToks out, baby. It took me a total of an hour and a half, but I'm getting close. But hopefully, because I've seen some crypto TikToks that were just horrendous. I'm like, Jesus Christ, these people suck.
You see the guy who did the scam token?
No, I haven't. I mean, I'm not that deep. I got 4 followers, man. I'm just starting.
There's a guy who he said something like, "Watch this," and he created scam token, and it was like secure, computerized, automatic.
He just did some word salad,
whatever.
On the website. Yeah,
but it's spelled scam, SCAM, and then he put it together, and he was like read it out, and he was like scam, and then he like released it, and it had like I don't know. $70,000 market cap within seconds. He was like, "Y'all idiots out here
buying everything."
Yeah,
y'all
he was like, "By the way,
crazy.
I don't know what I just did. I just released a scam."
Yeah, you just copy and paste somebody's GitHub, load something up there, and buying that smart chain. I've seen some terrible coins. You can probably get a $100,000 market cap in 2 days because it's like bots that just buy the new stuff just in case. It's crazy, but that's what we're in now. It's the Wild West still. In certain aspects, just like 2017. But that's what Bitcoin is for. That's why I love it.
All right, man. Listen, we're going to do this again. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Anytime, man.